Eminent domain refers to the government's authority to take private property for public use. While Americans have private property rights in the U.S., certain government entities have the right to take private property if the situation meets strict requirements. One of the biggest misunderstandings surrounding eminent domain in Arizona relates to who can exercise this law. In the U.S., federal, state, and local governments have the power to exercise eminent domain. Arizona state laws and the Arizona Constitution forbid the use of eminent domain exclusively for private purposes. Instead, it can only be employed to serve public needs, such as utility installation, infrastructure development, transportation, or other public projects designed to benefit society as a whole. Eminent domain is defined as the power of the U.S. government to take private property for public use without the property owner's consent. While a government entity does have the right to take private property without the express permission of the property owner, this does not mean that the government can simply show up and take the land right away. The government entity must first go through a series of steps. First, the government must determine what type of taking it would like to exercise. A complete taking occurs when the government takes an entire parcel of land. When only some of the property is taken, it is known as a partial taking. In addition, a taking may be either permanent, in which the property never goes back to the previous owner, or temporary, which occurs when the land is only taken for a specified period of time. For an eminent domain to occur in Arizona, the government entity must show that the reason for the taking is for public use and that the property owner has been offered fair compensation. Can eminent domain be used for private use? As a general rule, eminent domain cannot be used for private use. However, there are always some exceptions to the rule. Under certain circumstances, private entities can use or benefit from the use of eminent domain. However, there are generally strict legal requirements to ensure that the rightful landowner's rights are not violated. There are one of two ways that private companies can acquire property via eminent domain. First, they can exercise inherent or delegated eminent domain authority, such as through a utility company. The second way involves being the recipient of lands that are acquired by an entity with eminent domain authority, such as a redevelopment commission. Whether eminent domain can be used for private use will depend on if the private company has been delegated this authority by law, and whether the projects meet the definition of public use. Facing eminent domain is never easy, but with the help of an experienced Arizona eminent domain attorney, the process can go much more smoothly. Our attorneys represent private property owners, tenants, and developers in all aspects of eminent domain litigation and takings. Our practice also includes business and commercial litigation, land use litigation, representation of financial institutions, loan enforcement, market valuation proceedings and deficiency claims, and other complex commercial lawsuits. To learn more about the private use of eminent domain or to speak with an attorney, contact Jackson White at 480 900 1966.